Welcome to Community Cuts, live from Brooklyn, New York. BK is in the house. Our hosts, Donnatella C and Rickie James. Both are Brooklynites. So we have a show. We're going to be talking about Brooklyn, talking about Black history, and we have a guest next week, or we're going to be talking about her as well. So stay tuned. Community Cuts, live from Brooklyn, New York. BK?
You did not raise the camera. You're cutting off the top of my head.
I'm sorry.
This is the fun about live TV, right? Live YouTube. It's a work in progress. So, I happen to be a lady and I wanted the camera raised so that you are not looking up under my dress. Or in this instance, cutting my head off, because who wants a headless Donnatella? Nobody.
No, can't have that.
Nobody, right? Also, the view hasn't changed. I'm watching the live myself, and
that's nice. Oh, we look
yeah,
good.
but he moved. Well, that's not as bad. Oh, look at my love handles. I'm a fat girl. Oh, this is big back territory. Do you know what big back is?
Yeah.
No, it's fine. You can leave it because I have on tights. That's okay. I said leave it. Making you look like a shorty.
Yeah, you got the high chair. I got the low chair.
I told you to sit on the pillow.
Nice. No pillow.
I know a man's man. You can't sit on the pillow. That's fine. Is there sound? Yeah, there's sound. I turned it up. I can hear myself. Yeah, there's sound. I turned it up. I can hear myself. I'm gonna have to start wearing a waist trainer when we do these shows. No. Guess what? I purchased this dress in 2014. It's a miracle that I can even fit into it. So let's get started. I feel like this was a very disorganized beginning to our show this Friday, February 6th, 2026. Duke didn't give us our full intro, no singing. We didn't get to dance to get the thing started. What's going on, Duke?
Well, I'm here. I'm supporting both of you, supporting Community Cuts, and we're just live.
That did not answer the question, y'all, of why he didn't play our music and sing. But that's beside the point. That lets you know that's that old school, je ne sais quoi, as they say, right? I don't know what je ne sais quoi means. What does that mean?
Beginning of something.
Yeah. Okay. So let's get on track. Let's get going. It has been an amazing week.
Yeah.
If you are watching the YouTube live, do a favor for us. Like, share, subscribe. You know how people say that, right?
Yep. They do say that.
Community Cuts BK is a podcast. We are branded. We'll talk a little bit about branding. I took a screenshot of the things that we are speaking about and the order, and now I cannot find it. I'm thinking perhaps I should not have had that cocktail that I did across the street. And speaking of cocktails, tonight we are not having desserts. We are having a little cocktail, and this is nice. And it has mezcal. And of course, Rickie James doesn't consume alcohol.
I don't drink so. Beer maybe, but not alcohol.
Yeah? Well, I drink alcohol. Okay, so what makes us work? What are we talking about first here? Is he playing the music now? He was playing the music now. I don't remember what I wrote in the caption to get us started. So let's start off with Black History Month, past, present, and future. Rickie James, can you give us a topic, something that you would like to share for Black History Month that represents the past?
The idea of Christopher Atkins, the first person killed in the Revolutionary War or the Civil War. I don't remember. Okay. But I realized that he was the first person, and he is Black. He was the first person killed, and he is considered to be one of the bravest soldiers during that wartime period.
And was he on the front line?
On the front line, yes.
My understanding is that in those wars where, a certain group of individuals talked about Black and brown people as though we were less than any other man, less qualified, less capable. But I guess when it came to the front lines, we were overqualified.
It was the same. They didn't want the Black soldier doing it. And he showed his vigor and said he wants to be on the front line. And he stood there and took a bullet.
I've always heard that while some soldiers don't respect others when you talk about nationalities, they're quick to let them be on the front line to fight.
Friendly fire, yeah.
Yeah, I think right now there is a huge story trending about Africans who have been, duped into signing up. And I'm talking about Africans in Nigeria, duped into signing up to fight the war. I think with Ukraine to go to fight over there, and that they're promised, all these different types of jobs and trainings, but they're not actually receiving the training, nor are they getting the jobs.
Just the body to be there to represent that country in order to say that we are still in fighting formation. So.
I want to speak about a Black history topic representing something that's happening in the present. So, and I'll make this one a little lighthearted. Are you all, including our founder, familiar with comedian Dave Chappelle?
Yeah.
Are you? He's got to grab his microphone. Y'all.
Yes, I am.
Okay. Duke likes to be off camera. So sometimes you're going to hear a nice voice from behind the camera and not see a face. There is I don't know how new it is, but one of the newer comedy specials by Dave Chappelle, he talks about the tiny city that he lives in. I think it's Yellow Springs, Ohio. And right now, there's a huge topic and there's some viral videos on Instagram speaking about how Dave Chappelle recently was at a community event. And in this community event, he was speaking about the fact that they were making him audition to have the right to build buildings in this community. And in this community, apparently, I thought he just moved there during the pandemic because I heard a lot that happened during the pandemic. He did a comedy show during the pandemic that generated, I believe, some $7 million for comedy. This. Yes,
it does. It does give you financial backing and to do building, but you have to follow the laws of that state. He
is, but hold on. Yep. So during the pandemic, when everything was shut down, he generated millions for this tiny little city. But this tiny town, Yellow Springs, Ohio, has huge significance in Black history, past, present, and future. So one of the things is that David Chappelle owns, I believe they said, 85% of this city. And in the city, he's built stores. He owns the former firehouse. He's created housing. He's created jobs. He opened a Dave Chappelle shop, let's say. And he makes this joke where if, in this town where I guess it is, let's say 85% white and 10% Black, what if he were white doing that in a Black neighborhood, they would call it gentrification. But because he is Black and he's buying up this town, there's no name for what he's doing. And so right now he is threatening, and my numbers may be off a little bit. I believe he is a $65 million company venture within this community, and there is a $24 million company or something like that that's bidding to do something, and he's threatening to pull all his money out of the city because he's upset they're making him audition. And to me, the things
is he afraid of something, or is
no, not him.
His pride?
No, not him. It is. Think of it this way: if a Black business owner had contributed 85% of the economy into Brooklyn, right? And then this white company, and you're talking about $65 million, right, in revenue that he's put in a pipeline for this tiny, tiny town. And here comes a white-owned company that's being allowed to do whatever they want to do, and they're only contributing maybe $25 million. He, who owns most of the town, should not have to audition for the right to do whatever.
Is it a bid or an audition?
I think he probably was using a play on words because of his industry. He said audition. I'm not sure if it's a bid. He didn't say. But the point is that it's tied into why we have minority women business enterprise or minority business enterprise. Large white corporations don't have to haggle for opportunities.
Well, they go about the right channels. I mean, you're calling them white to begin with. They're not just businesses. Because, I mean, white has been in business for millions and millions and millions of years. So
my lovely Rickie, Black people have been doing entrepreneurial things since the beginning of time, right?
Yeah.
And so the reason why I'm referencing them as white is because in this context, minority business enterprise only pertains to Black and brown businesses. And the reason minority business enterprise for women or men was created is because white America already has the capital growth and the capital contract. So white America has billions and billions of dollars that they have passed amongst themselves through nepotism, through a friend of a friend, through education, through knowledge. Whereas because of the systematic racism that they have applied toward Black and brown people for hundreds and hundreds of years, those opportunities are not available. So the analogy here is that here's this Black person who has all this money, who could be living anywhere. Remember, he left America for a very long time and came back, right? But he's fed and kept this town, this tiny town alive, and the history and the significance of that town. His father was actually a Black professor in, I believe, Antioch.
Who was not waiting for this to develop? Who was not waiting for it to develop? It's already there on the table, but who was not waiting for it to develop? Is it going to be Chappelle pulling his money out, or the white business?
Well, I think what you're what I'm not articulating well is that in this town where he's been spending all this money and building for years in Yellow Springs, right? There is a current situation where the town, I'm using the word situation because I don't know the best. I'm trying to explain it to you in another way, right? But you know how you have, like you have a bid, right? You have Flatbush bid. You have, I don't know what this area is called. Each area has its own organization that oversees projects and growth, right? And so in this town where he is, the entity that oversees development and let's say housing.
The city of Ohio, the city he lives.
It's Yellow Springs.
What are they saying?
That's what I'm talking about. Yellow Springs is allowing a smaller financial company that is white owned to do that is what I'm saying, right? And the person who happens to be a Black man who's poured all this money into this town now has to audition, jump through hoops in order to be part of a project, which is asinine when you think about it, right? And so as a reaction to what is now happening, he's threatening to pull all of his funding out of the town. And where he did this speech, there were a lot of people there, and who were in support of what he was saying. And when he started to speak, and he said, it is you making us look like clowns. You all look like clowns making me audition, the person who's put the bread and butter into the town.
I'd like to see what happens to that.
And so that's my example of
the city itself is turning on him. That's
not the city. It's the people who control the access to whatever the project is. That bid, that platform, that organization.
The owners or the city that gives the money to the owner.
Well, I think that he contribute a lot of money into that city, and why should he have to audition? He's put money there. He's
already showing his dedication. He lives there.
Yeah, and he's spending his hard earned money.
To see what happens.
It's the, if I think the word is correct, is the anti-slavery laws that were prevalent in Yellow Springs. And if I'm not mistaken, Coretta Scott King is from Yellow Springs, Ohio as well. It's a great story. You should look into it. Yeah. Very, very interesting. And that's my example of present day Black history. Mm-hmm. Do you have one you want to share with us?
Not right now. We'll keep going and then we'll talk about that.
Well, who is, to me, you went to Medgar Evers College.
Correct.
Or is it Medgar Evers University?
No, Medgar Evers College.
Medgar Evers College. And one of the people that you engaged, to me, is an example of present, past, because she has history in the education system, but also future historical connotations for Medgar Evers.
I was first time meeting her. I didn't know her, and I was invited to the forum. So I went in and sat down right beside the president of Medgar Evers College.
Yes,
Patricia Ramsey.
Yeah,
and
I think she may be a doctor.
She's
Patricia.
Doctor
Patricia Ramsey.
She is doctor.
Yes, yeah.
And didn't know her from this first time meeting her, laying eyes on her.
And she's extremely humble.
Very humble.
So you wouldn't be able to recognize her by the arch in her back and the air. She's very, very nice.
Very nice, very humble, and she's inclusive. And that was big to me. And she's coming on to Community Cuts. We're going to get the date, and you guys are going to speak with her. And she's going to be talking about Black history and stuff that she had to go through as an educator.
Oh, I can't wait, because as an Aries who loves the sound of my voice, as my mother tells me quite often, that will definitely be a day where I'm mute and I'm learning. I've had the opportunity to hear her speak in multiple venues on multiple occasions over the last 2 years. And it is amazing to me, her accomplishments, how much she pours back into the community, how she makes people like myself feel comfortable around her as she speaks. So that'll be super exciting.
Yeah, and I sat right beside her, and I felt comfortable. There was no air, it was this or that. And she was excellent.
How old is Medgar Evers College?
Oh, I thought you were going to ask how old is the professor. I was like, now, Rickie.
No, I think it's 1986 that it was first established.
Really? That's fairly young.
I think something.
I remember it in the 70s.
Or it could be 70. I'm not really sure, but I saw a banner that said 86 where
1886.
No, 1986.
Let me look it up. Well, first of all, think about who the college is named after. So it had to come after him. And so Ding, 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 ding. Prize goes to Rickie James.
Okay.
Medgar Evers College in Brooklyn was officially established in 1970 as part of the City University of New York, named in honor of the civil rights leader Medgar Wiley Evers. As of 2026, that makes the college about 56 years old.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Where did Medgar Evers come from? South?
His mama and his daddy. Because I don't know. I don't know. Let's
look that up.
You know, there's a funny joke my mom says to my stepfather, right? She calls ChatGPT his girlfriend. So I'm gonna ask my dad's girlfriend.
Okay.
Where is Medgar Evers? And I'm gonna use voice, right?
Born.
Where is Medgar Evers born? Drum roll, ding, ding, ding. Medgar Evers was born on July 2nd, 1925 in Decatur, Mississippi. M-I, cricket letter, I, cricket letter, I.
All right.
I. I'm from Alabama, so that's right down there by Mississippi. My grandma, Miss Frances McGee, she was born in Mississippi.
From Ohio. So
yeah.
History there.
Yeah, all good people, Southern people come from the South.
Ohio River. That's
yes. He was born in a small town in Newton County in the Jim Crow South. The birthplace matters. His early life in the segregated Mississippi directly shaped his later works as a civil rights leader and NAACP field secretary. And it's why institutions like Medgar Evers College carry such deep historical weight. And guess what? Did you know that right now, before this administration does something to it, you can, if you don't have a degree, you can get a free degree at any CUNY or SUNY school.
Wow. Okay.
Without going to classes, without going to school, you have to go to classes. I know that.
No, that's what she
said. So I don't know. Rickie's been drinking some interesting water today.
I don't believe that. You know,
I didn't say you could get a free degree by walking up to Medgar Evers and being like, "Yo, what up? I don't have a degree. Had it in my hand." I
free
said,
education.
That is what I said, Rickie.
Free degree. There's a difference there.
Okay, in a literal sense, yes, you cannot walk up and just get a degree. You can get a free 2-year education that results in a degree.
Very good.
And there are 2 different programs. So there's one you have to be, I think, 55 and under, and then I met a beautiful chocolate 74-year-old woman who was an intern in one of the city council members' office, and now she's full-time. And when I saw her, she looks like remember Anita Baker, the singer, how regal with a short haircut and real Black woman. And I think this woman, she might have even been Caribbean, I can't remember, but she is now working on her degree at Medgar Evers, and she's 74. So I think we're living in a day and time, if you are plugged into the community, as Community Cuts is, there are a lot of opportunities. So I challenge anyone who's complaining about lack of opportunities to be employed, to be gainfully employed, to have benefits. Let's all show up to Medgar Evers or whichever CUNY or SUNY school you'd like to, and get enrolled for the next semester and get a degree. Because at the rate that AI is, the
education would be an accelerated education. It would be quick, fast, and the 2 years will go by just like that. Believe me.
I don't know how accelerated the 2 years will go by, because this 2 years under this administration is dragging, right? But I think it's an opportunity for people to get out of their comfort zone.
Yep.
A lot of people assume because I'm very articulate, I'm very traveled, that I have a degree. And I've been to quite a few top universities, as my mother would probably want to kick my backside. But I lack discipline. And so I'm always finding opportunities to grow. And I was attending Drexel undergrad, and I came to New York, which was supposed to be for a year to work and save up money and go back to school. And I got my first job at New Horizons Computer Learning Training School. And I remember they hired me at about $23,000. And when you don't have any money, you're like, what? I don't have a degree. That's banging. And within 9 months, I was making $40,000. And when I left them, I went straight from them. I think I had a short contract to working for Lehman Brothers, and I never went back to school, which is awful because in my family, I'm the only one without a college degree.
Did you tap into your gifts and talents that you know of?
Yep.
Yeah, that's a given. Don't you see me?
There you go. There you go.
That doesn't pay any checks, pay any bills. No respect in a household where everyone has a degree. My parents have masters. They speak multiple languages. I am blessed that, and it's taken me a lot of years to grow more appreciative of it. But if I could go back to my teenage self when I was enrolled in, I think I went to Barbizon for a little while. I took acting.
That was a good school, Barbizon.
Yeah, for modeling.
I like that.
I took acting classes at Birmingham Southern University when I was younger than the 6th grade, because I moved from Alabama in the 6th grade to Maryland. And so, I grew up with a single parent. And so my mother got me a big sister. Me and my brother had a big sister, big brother, because my mother worked for the government. So I always had multiple jobs. I appreciate it now, but one of the suburban areas that we lived in Birmingham, Alabama as a kid, we were the first Blacks to move into this gated community. And that was in Hoover, Alabama, right? Funny story, during the pandemic, there was a young woman who went viral because she arranged and faked her own kidnapping. And she was from Hoover, Alabama, when she went viral. And I was like, girl, you want to get out of South that bad? Let me help you. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so education is something that's huge. And right now with AI, all this facial recognition, gaming, coding in our community, a lot of us are going to become displaced. As you look at companies like Waymo, driverless cars, driverless technology, a lot of people who are making money by Uber drivers, using Lyft, using Revel. These are positions that are going to disappear, especially at the rate that this administration is using those 3 letters, the cold thing that you put in your drink, grabbing our delivery personnel, delivery people. I've taken Uber recently a couple times, and the prices are outrageous in terms of rates because there are fewer cars on the road.
Yep. And
the times that you're waiting for a pickup are longer because there are fewer people driving. And so, it's just a lot going on. Mm-hmm. Okay, so I want to hear about your road trip to Albany. Tell us why you're going and what you hope to accomplish while you're there.
We are going to Albany as a group from all throughout the city. We're meeting in Manhattan and parts of the Bronx and Staten Island and other parts of the city, going there to support a bill that was written out by the Assembly on the environment, climate change. Mm-hmm. So it is important that climate change just doesn't die. With all that we have to use it for, the avenues that we use it for goannas and places like that, we would love to keep the climate change acts of law, paper reduction, factories, the factories down over by Gowanus that produces manufacturing and recycling of paper goods and metal tin cans and things like that to keep from just being waste. We use them and use them over again and again and again. So that's a good bill that is being passed through the Senate this session with the Assembly. We will visit senators and assemblymen in their office and talk to them about the bill and try to get them to vote on it. And when they time to get them into the Assembly and the Senate, we will stand outside and listen to the votes.
Is the vote going to be soon?
I think it is. The time is when we get there.
Is this a trip for Monday?
Monday, yeah.
All right. So I am wishing safe travel, safe roads, no more snow, because every other day they're saying we're supposed to have more snow.
We're going to have snow Saturday, Sunday.
We are. Tomorrow, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah.
Okay, so
if we got that road, please pray for us, the family, with the fact that we are on the road, and you know how the roads are when you're going upstate New York.
I know
the mountains and the valleys in places like Peekskill and those places. It's dangerous. The roads can slip.
I think if it's looking too bad, they're going to cancel the bus ride.
I hope so.
Yeah, I don't want my
day off of work that day, so I
thought you retired.
No, I'm working.
All right, ladies, you know Rickie is available and he's single. And he just let us know that he is not actually retired. So there's some benefits and some money. And I see Rickie has a fresh haircut for Monday. And that is the laugh. All men, no matter what age they are, when you catch them out there, ha, ha, ha.
I mean, Donnatella, you would work good on this trip if you was going. You can lead the group to the office and say, this is what we're going to say. Then get it to the office and then
I did toward the end of the pandemic, I took a free bus ride, left from Harlem, going to Albany with the New York Women's Chamber of Commerce to support, and it was the Latina Hispanic group from Harlem to support MWBE and MBE certification. And so let's jump into that just for a second as we come off of Rickie hitting the road on Monday. So Minority Business Enterprise, Minority Women Business Enterprise, MWBE.
You got to get the word W in there.
And MBE. So what are those? I'm an Aries. I'm there's a large screen here, and I keep catching my face. And every once in a while, I look and I notice I'm slumping, so I sit straight up. But minority women, yes, I also attended etiquette classes at grassroots classes. Can't remember where they were from in Columbia, Maryland.
When they have an etiquette class at my school, I'm going to invite the both of you.
Yes, I will come.
How to eat etiquettely, and they grade you.
Yes.
And they give you certification if you are good at what you do. If you are not, they'll give you a handshake.
So I took classes as a child. Again, my mother did so many things for me that I think at that time, I just wasn't ready. And I was a spoiled brat. So I took etiquette classes. I learned how to set a table. I learned the difference between the entree fork, the salad fork, the dessert fork, the spoon, the butter knife, everything.
That's
when to eat the tea, the bread plate. I took modeling class to learn how to walk from when I was young.
Side of the table the waiter is supposed to stand when he's serving you.
Absolutely.
If he's standing on it, why you should not be expecting anything at all. And then if he's sitting on the right side, then you should be prepared for him to serve you. So.
And what about the etiquette for when you're buying a wine or a champagne, the smelling of the cork, the taste,
and not waste it.
Not guzzle it.
Swirl it around the head. If you are not a drinker, you don't have to. But if you drink, he gives you a wine, the waiter. So it's a testing of your advocacy.
So I noticed you. So you notice we adjusted the camera. I think Duke got tired of my bony elbow going outside of the camera shot. But it's okay. It's live. We're in. We set this up so that it's community. We're in Brooklyn's living room, right? Oh, speaking of Brooklyn's living room, I attended a tasting 2 nights ago. It was at Aunts and Uncles. You went on to Resi. You made a reservation. It was $105 a plate.
Wow.
Not a plate, but a dinner. And it was fantastic. Aunts and Uncles is a vegan restaurant. They have merch. They do events. They do pop-ups. But one thing that's amazing about them, they are community, right? It is open to Black, brown, green, and otherwise. And the people who were there were very diverse. There was someone originally from Nigeria, recently moved here. There was a woman from Japan who also lived in Canada. And there were a lot of creatives in this space. And one of the things that they did, and actually I brought one of the pieces, but it's in my bag, they did metal work, right? So the way that it was set up with the tasting, you...
is this at the yard, the Navy Yard?
No. This is Aunts and Uncles is on Nostrand Avenue between Linden Boulevard and Martins on the left-hand side.
Oh, no.
And that area in itself, you have Lips Cafe, you have Mr. P's ice cream, which is homemade, handmade, custom-made, vegan ice cream, as well as like sorbets, sour sap.
Wow.
Yeah, they're Trinidadian owned. We Are Caribbean, I think is the name. They are there. There is a Haitian bakery. Whenever you walk past, you're smelling the flakiness, the things that are going on. But with Aunts and Uncles that night, dinner started at 8, and at 11:45, I was trying to book it out of there to get to where I'm staying because I needed to be in Kings County Family Court in the morning. But it was delicious. I learned the history of some mezcal liquors, agave, the difference between the two. We had 3 samples, and they brought out these deliciously prepared bites for you to taste.
Wow.
It was actually really nice. And the thing about Aunts and Uncles, it's more than when you walk inside their cafe, they appreciate your dollar.
Yep.
Right? And it's also like a safe haven. A lot of people...
What they serve you sounds like it is appreciative of your dollar. That's very good.
Yeah, it is. But more than that, I don't know if it's true, you feel like you're best friends with the owner because they know you by name. They talk to you. They remember when you were there.
It reminds me of Samson's when it first opened, the restaurant on Atlantic Avenue and
Simpsons?
Simpsons, yes.
Look, you didn't change the man's name.
Samson, sorry about
Samson, but he would like that because isn't Samson like a strong person?
The first time it opened, he would come out himself and talk to you about your table to say, this is what we're serving you.
Wilford Simpson.
Yeah. Simpson.
He just opened a new location.
Yeah, he said he was going to. Yeah.
Well, no, not the. So he had 2 spaces, I believe, in Atlantic City, and this month he opened a new location that is supposed to be even bigger and better, and I think it's at Caesars. I could be lying, but you can Google him. I had the pleasure of meeting him some years ago, I think back in 2018-19, when he was the executive chef for Sony Hall and Blue Note. And what I particularly like about Chef Simpson is that no matter who you are, and he was also ambassador for Jamaica. right? No matter who you are, when you speak to him, you feel like you are special. You are part of his brand, right?
And get into brand.
Yeah, it's part of his brand. And if you look at his brand is community, is professionalism, is as islanders, it's love, it's everything Jamaica, everything Jamaican. He had a cooking class that he streamed, and a lot of popular, influential, I should have been on there, people that I know from Brooklyn and other places were on his show. And the other part that's great about him, he had merchandise. So you could buy his seasonings. And during the pandemic, when everybody was terrified and scared and you were locked in and you couldn't see family, he created the ability to purchase a holiday meal package that he prepared, he froze, and he flew by plane on dry ice to locations where you wanted it to go, so that all they had to do was put the food in the refrigerator or freezer when they received it, thaw it or whatever, heat it up, and it was a full dinner. And so for myself, if I remember correctly, it was a dinner for two, or maybe it was more than two. It was like $350. And one day I'll find a way to take the videos, because I sent one to Florida, where I have family. I sent one to Alabama, where I have family, and I sent one to Tennessee. Right? Because it fed multiple people in Memphis and Tennessee. I think this was Thanksgiving. Everybody came over, and with my parents, my stepfather is Jamaican. My biological father and mother are from the South. And it was really nice. And he put merch, branding. So there was like a baseball cap. If you go in my bedroom at my family home, my childhood panda bear has the Chef Simpson baseball cap on it. But my dad's food was amazing. And I'm not talking about little simple stuff. It was, you could pick what you wanted to send. So I sent oxtail, jerk chicken, rice and peas, steamed cabbage, plantains. All these things were frozen. Yeah, it was Thanksgiving dinner or Christmas dinner, whatever it was.
They appreciated that. That's a
my bank account didn't appreciate it, but you know, you did it for business and it became a business thing. And I have always admired, and to this day, if I WhatsApp Chef Simpson, he treats me like I just spent $1 in his place. And one other thing I'll tell you, which I haven't shared on any of my social media, in 2021, I've always wanted to have a cooking experience with local chefs, where the chefs talk about what they do and I talk about my journey and kind of stuff like that. I hired Chef Simpson to come to where I live and do a cooking class with me, where he taught me how to prepare a meal. And I talked about being single and looking for love and all that stuff, and learn how to cook. And it was the best experience. We popped champagne, and I actually never shared it anywhere, but we did
this is a first.
Yeah, we did a salmon, which I love, a Jamaican style salmon with spinach, coconut, rice, and something else I can't remember, but absolute. So at home, when you have your girlfriends, you can invite them over and have the chef come over and, you know, cook for you or cook with you. And it is a good appetizer, or what's the other word when you're
cuisine?
Well, I'm looking for what hors d'oeuvres, what oysters do. What is the word that I'm looking for? It's the word that means you're getting the
does he do
enticement?
And at Thanksgiving, does he do a
turkey?
Yeah.
Well, I imagine traditionally, you know, my stepfather, we did duck.
Duck is good.
Right? So we do duck, we do turkey. We do a turkey every Thanksgiving. This past Thanksgiving, we tried something else and it didn't go so well. We decided to purchase Thanksgiving dinner from a local, I don't want to say meat market because that sounds crazy, but where my parents live, there are these really elaborate restaurant kind of grocery stores that have, whole turkeys that are huge and they do all the sides. And those people don't look like us, right? So we did the whole turkey dinner, and it was the idea my mom and my dad had was and my mom, it gives us more time for family. And what my brothers are like, no, we come home so we could cook together. Cause my dad does the meats, my mom does the vegetables and the breads, and we do the desserts together. That turkey, we bought the turkey and the sides, and my mom still ended up cooking because she had to put the Black woman pork tasting into it. And the turkey, it was a huge turkey. And I want to say it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad, but nobody was fighting over the bones and the leftovers. Because when it's time to leave the house, we use
the carving of it.
My dad. My dad does the carving. There are years when my dad will allow, because you what I've learned. And we didn't have this before my parents married, right? Because my mother was doing everything. My mother was always at work, right? You're always growing, and you're always your parents' children, no matter how old you are, right? So even when I was home this weekend, my parents let me know what they were disappointed in, right? You're always learning. So my dad will, go through cooking with their recipes. And when it's time to carve, he tells my brother how to carve things. And my stepbrother, during college, he turned into, first he stopped eating pork, which made dinner difficult, right? Because we like roast pork. I eat bacon, things like that. My youngest brother, he is a vegan. He's not even a pescatarian or a vegetarian. So, we're all looking at him like he's crazy when it's breakfast time, because we're doing pancakes. And a huge thing is, what's that ham from the South? I don't think we have it up here. Oh my goodness.
Virginia ham? Nothing like that, no?
No, it's a honey
glaze?
Well, honey, oh my goodness. I have to figure it out. It's a company that sells hams, honey something hams. I'll figure out what it is. But my mom for years, and when I say years, I mean like 20 years, 30 years, has always, sent Thanksgiving dinner to my grandmother's house, right? Because at this point, when you're dealing with places in the South, you don't really have to worry so much if the food's going to taste good. There's a place in Memphis called Piccadilly's. And Piccadilly's. Wow. It's like PICCID something, right? And Piccadilly's is like a cafeteria style restaurant that you get in line. And I don't do cafe style here in New York City. I don't trust New Yorkers with standing over food. But this is a restaurant where you stand in this line, and it's like everything you believe a Black Southern meal should be after you get out of church.
What we didn't like about the South doing that, they used to pick their nose and go. Oh, sorry.
I want to hear who did this. Vulgar. Go ahead.
I don't know. They just said some people used to pick their nose and go to. So I never did that. I never liked going to the South. And
before people in the South start trying to lay out my friend Rickie.
Just an incident. They all do.
Understand that Rickie is cut from a different cloth. He is susceptible to a whole lot of hogwash, as they say in the South. Nobody good.
Remember, Rickie has a lot of girlfriends. So
yeah, and they tell him a lot of stories to keep you from other places. Nobody's doing it in the South. I think.
Well, the thought comes across the mind.
I think that's urban legend. A lot of people don't eat out. Like last night,
the people eating, and you're wondering if they wash their hands.
Well, and that's true about every place.
Yeah.
That place where we buy desserts before the Friday show. You have to wonder if people are abiding by the signs. Do they have running water? Are they sweeping?
in the 70s, we used to go through that all the time. Don't go into that restaurant because they're unclean. Now they have the grades, A, B, C.
Oh, let's talk about the grades for a second. Let me clear my throat. One of my favorite Haitian restaurants in Brooklyn is on Clarendon and Flatbush. And actually, I was just reminded last night when I walked in, they have their grade is pending. And they've had an A since they opened. And in December, I think it was, a inspector came in. Inspector was a woman of color, and she happened to be of Jamaican descent. Mm-hmm. And I don't like to write when I'm angry because you're writing off of emotion. And I watched her interact with the restaurant owners and the way she behaved with some of the customers that were there, the way she spoke to them. And I was furious. Actually, it took everything for me not to curse her out. Wow. Because there's a way I could say to you, let's say you're standing here and I need to pass, and I need you to come to me, and I can say, hey, Rickie, can you come this way so I can show you something? And then there's Rickie, come. Come over here. I need to show you something. Come now, right? Yeah. I found
servant in the massive thing.
Right. And so in my humble opinion, I found her behavior to be very discriminatory, very unprofessional. I don't think anybody's ever heard me give a negative review about someone or about a place. I had the feeling, right? Like the wife who's the chef, I literally thought she was going to cry at some point. These are big grown-up people, mm-hmm. right? You know, they have a daughter who's a producer on one of the local networks. So, you know, they have grown children, multiple grown children. And the health inspector was speaking to them. And what came to my mind is all the negative things that I've heard some Caribbean people, especially Jamaicans, say about Haitians. That is the way it was almost like when you think about discriminatory actions, it can be racist, it can be colorist, right? And so when the person looks like you, that is exactly how she was speaking to them. When she asked them how they prepare foods, because if you go into a Haitian restaurant and they prepare things fresh, it's different culturally. And so if you have in the back of your head already the stereotype that your West Indian way of preparing food, doing food is the correct way versus the stereotypes and stigmas that people have unfortunately attached to Haitians over the years, you're not going to give them a fair chance, right? And this lady was there for a while, and at a point in which she, an inspector would say, "Hey, there's some violations, or there's some things I need to talk to you about, and maybe there might be a grade change." I watched her say to my friend who's a male owner, I watched her yell to him, "Hey, go outside and get the grade." And he was like, "What?" She said, "Go get the grade and bring it in. Take it off and bring it in." And so customers inside the restaurant, they were so, when I got there, the interaction had already started, right? So when I got there, the front door of the restaurant was locked. And I was like, "Why is it locked?" And because I had a client meet me there, he got there before me and he called me and said, "Hey, the place is closed." I said, "Place is never closed. They're open 7 days a week." And so when I got there, this lady's interaction, her lack of professionalism was so unnerving that they closed the door. They didn't want anyone coming in and seeing what was happening, right? And so they opened the door. I came in.
They have what do they call that? Professional right, or they had to get the professional person to realize how to act.
Well, so I am
something I forget now. Oh, why?
I'm gonna figure it out because we're coming to the end of the year, right? And we already knew we're changing mayors. I thought it was important to wait until the new mayor is in office because a lot of commissioners changed, a lot of protocols, and one of the things that our new mayor says repeatedly, he wants to put all these new people in different places, create new policy to fix what's missing, to close the gap. And so I think there are a lot of people in different roles that maybe were picked on when they were children, maybe didn't have any friends.
When I was running track, I ran the 800-meter track. That's 3 times around a track at top speed.
Mm-hmm.
I always paced myself to catch the number one runner on the track
at the end.
At that time, I would always catch him on the second round of rounding the track. I set the record at Bishop Ford High School for that 800 meters for outdoors wood tracks. I set the meter in the statewide into track meet. I took 4th place in that track meet, and I did catch them, but they did take off when I did come alongside them.
So are you telling me that I should have waited outside for the health inspector, as they say in the streets? I should have caught her outside. No, I think there's
something wrong with that inspector. There's nothing good about it. So then there should be nothing done to her.
But I'm not.
Should have eventually.
Well, I haven't written my complaint, which I'm going to do this weekend.
Don't complain at all.
You must be mad.
No, I wouldn't complain at all. I'm wait for the mayor himself to sit down and eat with her. He would. Eventually, he would.
No,
it's inevitable. It's inevitable.
Listen.
She can't go without being recognized.
Listen, my friend. In this day and age, and this is the friend hand to the back of the
I'm used to that now.
No. So to be clear, right? The problem with our nation, with our world, there's lack of humanity, lack of empathy. There's also lack of accountability, which is why this administration is running amok, right? So if you look at a lot of companies, regardless of industry, but if you look at a lot of companies, regardless of industry, no one is holding people to task. And so it could be she has no idea that she was an a-hole that day because no one wrote in and no one said anything. Meanwhile, the livelihood of that small business has been unhinged since October, waiting for their new grade.
This very day?
The grade still hasn't arrived.
Well,
and so when
the Department of Environmental Protection, it is their fault.
It is the fault of the individual. And so I am going to write my little letter. I told the business owner.
You're too concerned. You're such a nice person. You shouldn't be so concerned.
Why shouldn't I? That's what's wrong with us now.
Yeah,
that is what's wrong.
You shouldn't be the only one that saw that.
But here's the problem with New Yorkers. You all take minding your own business to a new level. All these people who are watching people getting grabbed by ICE, not saying anything, not doing anything, while those people don't look like them. You know, when they're grabbing all the Venezuelans, nobody has anything to say. Now they're grabbing anybody, right? I myself want to get my birth certificate to carry it with me. And I was born here. And my mama's was born here. And my mama's mama was born here. If you pay attention and you watch the news, that doesn't matter. They can pick up anyone. There's a video going viral now where ICE agent said, hey, you better look up because Rickie just said, my date is calling. I gotta go. Oh boy. But yeah, it's 8:44. He asked you, are we going for an hour? Or are we going for an hour and a half? So that's that. It's time to go. Where's your music? That's why we're sitting in the community neighborhood, because only in the community neighborhood can you tell somebody, I got to go. Turn it off.
So one more thing. What would you suggest for the younger generation in terms of helping them to move to the next level, stimulate them in terms of tapping into their gifts and talents?
Don't whitewash whatever you do. You do it to the best of your ability. If you are picking your toenails, do it to the best of your ability, because somebody's always watching you. That's my motto.
That is definitely true. I would say in this day and age, it's not just the younger generation. The younger generation is tapped into a lot more technology and opportunity than people who are in the middle of their life and the end of their life. I would tell the younger generation to do something that I didn't do as much as I should. And that is, if you have parents, listen to your parents' wisdom and experience. If you have mentors or people that you believe in, and I want a little clarity around people that you believe in, because there are a lot of boys, girls, and however people identify, believe in a lot of people who don't wish them well.
Correct.
Right.
Correct.
And I try not to be a hypocrite, but short example, when I was going into the Kings County Family Court the last 2 days, some of the offers are very strategic in, going through your bags, right? I usually dress pretty corporate or professional, I should say. So they're not as stringent when they look at me. And today when I went, I had on a full length kind of fur coat and what I'm wearing now, and I had my bag. And the officer who was there today was like, "Oh, take all your phones out." He made me take my watch off, take off your coat. And I was like, "Oh, I didn't have to take my coat off yesterday." And he said, "Yeah." He said, "Well, there were some young people that came into family court. It also happened in Supreme Court because those buildings are drawn together. Mm-hmm. These young people hid razors in their waistband, and they went up to court, and it was allegedly people representing different gangs. And one of the individuals took out a razor and sliced someone up. In another instance, the person had a ceramic knife. Mm-hmm. And so ceramic knives are not going to go off in a metal detector. And it was hidden again, I guess, in his waistband. Mm-hmm. The person, and I think he said this was in Supreme Court. And the person pulled out the ceramic knife and stabbed the other person twice. And he only stopped when one of the court officers put a gun to his head. Now he's facing attempted murder. And my jaw was on the ground because if you've ever been inside Kings County Family Court or the Supreme Court, there are cops everywhere. And it's not just your regular flat foot walking on the street. It's people who, they're pretty much inside, get no action all day. And the minute you do something, they are on you. Yeah. And I said to him, wow, for a kid, and these are young people, right? For a person to come in with that amount of intent, and to go through that with this many police, knowing that they can't get out. How? I said, what did that person do on the outside to them that they were ready to risk it all? And this cop, who I don't think he was white, I think he was Latino, he turned and he looked at me and he said, "Oh, it's not even as serious. It's just about gang initiations. And, they're just in gangs." And I said, no. That person did not come out of his mother's vagina in a gang. Something happened to give that level of influence. So when I say listen to the people who influence you, I want to say listen to the people who influence you, who are abiding by the community guidelines and laws.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that at the same time as an elder, we have to talk to our community and we have to speak into them, because a lot of times people are looking for advice. They're looking and not finding it. And so they end up in gangs. So it's our duty to talk to, it was said before that it's a village.
Yeah.
It's a village.
But I think gangs for a lot of people represent family, because a lot of people don't have family. There are a lot of missing parents. I was surprised at how many men were in family court filing for full custody of their children. And this one man wasn't a black man, wasn't a white man, was an Asian young man. And he was asking me how to fill out his custody application and how he should word things. And, and I said, I'm not a professional, I'm not a lawyer, but it is an uphill battle as a man to sue for full custody from the mom. And remember, whatever you're writing, you're going to have to swear to it in a court of law, and you can't perjure yourself. So you can't just say a bunch of messed up things because you want to.
Same thing in school. You can't copy up from another person. That's perjury.
Yeah, and that's more of honor system, ethics, things of that nature.
That's perjury.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I think, at the end of the day, I think for me, is to learn how to speak from the heart. And you have to make sure the heart's in the right place.
Yeah.
I know you think on a higher level, you're very spiritual. A lot of these kids don't have the ability to speak from their heart because they're mentally abused, physically abused, they're neglected. Some of these kids have hardworking parents. Maybe the mom is a nurse, she works at night. Maybe the dad works in the daytime. All the kid sees is he's being neglected. He's home by himself. Let me give you an
example of what happened to me. I was in the hospital for a cold, severe cold of the flu. Mm-hmm. I was sleeping in a bed surrounded by teenagers
in the hospital.
So I was getting ready for bed, and I was watching them getting ready for bed. Mm-hmm. And I said, "You guys want to hear a bedtime story?" And they all turned. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I told them a bedtime story from my youth and what I had did in a situation and how it turned out good. It's like
how long ago was this?
2000 and before my mother died, 2007.
Oh, that's nice.
They fell asleep and they did not wake up. They did not get up.
I thought you were going to say the kids were like, "No, man, we don't want to hear."
No, they ain't like that. I don't think they're like that.
It's amazing. Sometimes they just want
they want to be attention. Accepted.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, words are powerful.
They want to be accepted,
and if you use the right words, it can break the spell.
And that is huge. And one of my largest complaints about New York City court system, speaking about words being powerful, and I'll make it very, very short. It seems to me it doesn't matter if it's family court, Supreme Court, criminal court, small claims court, landlord-tenant court. The people who are at a disadvantage are our immigrant communities, people who first language isn't English or don't have a strong understanding of reading and writing English, even though New York City offers interpreters or translators. Every time I step into one of those buildings, I see people who are trying to get assistance, and the system is not serving them because of the language barrier. Yeah. And as a matter of fact, I am this weekend doing a lot of writing. I am writing a letter to a supervising judge about the behaviors of a referee on a custody order of protection case where she continuously said, while listening to the petitioner, the person who is scared for her life, right? I'm on a strict timeline. I don't have much time. You got to hurry up. Down to when she assigned a lawyer, and the lawyer came in, looked at the brief sitting at the table, and she asked the lawyer, but first she posed the situation, right? Judges and referees have a lot of status, and the lawyers don't want to be on their bad side, right? And so she posed the situation, which was an incorrect summary, right? She posed a situation where she said, oh, you were here yesterday to the petitioner. I reviewed this yesterday. You said such and such yesterday. I explained blah, blah, blah. And then she said to the lawyer, oh, do you want to take a few moments to speak to her? And it was kind of like a rhetorical ask. Mm-hmm. And so the lawyer said, no, I'm willing to accept what's here. I can read it. And by not speaking to the petitioner so that she could understand that the petitioner had a low level of understanding, person's been in America, has a green card since 2014, but all she does is work. So she's like one of those people who's in a situation where she has a child with a male who has his citizenship, who is taking complete advantage of her and threatening her life, terrified, and the system is failing her as well, right? So I'm going to wrap it up with saying that if you have a neighbor, a family member, or a friend who's ever in any of these courts, you need to show up with them. But this year, since we have a mayor who is all about the people and making sure we're together, and to be clear, I was totally on board and behind the former mayor, Eric Adams. I think he represented my voting representation fine, right? But Zoran has ran on a platform of these changes and things that he wants to do. I think there are billions of dollars being allocated to law firms, shelters, housing facilities where they are serving people who are disenfranchised, but it's not performative, right? Mm-hmm. So you have a law firm, I'm giving you $1 billion. You go down to the court system, you represent these people who can't afford to do whatever, but they're getting the money, whether the person ends up evicted, with or without an order of protection, murdered or not, with or without their child. If you made this money performative, you get a certain amount when you do the representation. Sure. You get another amount when you win. You don't get any money when you lose, or you get a lesser amount. You'll find that these attorneys, right, and it's just not the attorneys, the judges, all of them, right, they would be more accountable for what is happening, because at the end of the day, it's dollar and cents that run this city. And even with the people who are running these shelters who give out vouchers, right? Are you getting a place within X amount of days? Was that person assaulted within your organization, right? Where are those dollars and cents going? So those are some of my things about family court. But I know we've had a lot of good time.
Thank you both.
A good discussion today.
Yeah, thank you both. And I think I'm going to wrap it up now. But I think at the same time, we have to pray and we have to keep our communities lifted up. And
the church doors open.
Yeah, but the church is also within us. And so we have to be the ones to be responsible as taking care of the village. But with that being said, love you both, and thank you for everything, guys. Thank you.
All right, it's Friday night. He's like 2 fingers. I got my ladies to go see. Ladies, you should come on the show.
Thank you for tuning in to Community Cuts, live from Brooklyn, New York. We love you, BK. And it's all about Brooklyn. It's all about New York City. We're anchored here in Brooklyn. This is where the heart's at.